Dad was a beekeeper. Some distance from the house were his hives of bees. Us kids didn't mess around the hives. We didn't want to be stung. They provided delicious honey, and we liked chewing on the honeycomb. I remember hearing Dad say, "The bees are swarming." My brother Charles would help Dad with the bees. When it came time to rob the hives, Dad would wrap rags around a stick, light it on fire, and get some smoke going. The bees didn't move in the smoke. Charles would hold this and care for the smoke, and Dad would lift the frame off of the box hive where the bees had built their honeycomb. He seldom got stung. Mom would store the honey he collected in jars with a little bit of the honeycomb. Dad also grew a patch of sugar cane. He made the best sorghum molasses around. It was kept in barrel kegs. The brown sugar that he sugared off would melt in my mouth, and I loved it. We would eat the molasses hot or cold on Mama's good biscuits. The cane stalks were also whittled to make spoons to scoop out the molasses. One time, one of our mules got into the sugar cane patch and ate too much, and it died. Dad had dug a pit across the road in the field and poured the skimmings off of the pone into this hole. This ran all the way through the night, maybe until 10 o'clock to finish cooking the juice. And someone would always step into that skimmings hole almost every night. Eventually, Dad put a shed over the molasses pit. Toward the end of summer, Dad would pick out the hogs that he wanted to fatten up for butchering time, and he would put them in the hog pen in the barn lot. When Dad had hogs in the pen, we would fill sacks full of leaves and put them in where they lay. It really took a lot of sacks, and this was a chore. Rotten apples, just about anything went to the slop bucket to give to the hogs that Dad was fattening up. Sometimes the milk would blink or clabber, or the cows would eat something that ruined the milk. It would all go to the hogs. We fed them corn too, and they were fat by butchering time, come November to January. Once it got really cold, it was hog killing time. Dad would heat the big black kettle in the yard to boil, and he would hang the hog from the big oak tree to scald and clean. Dad sharpened his knives, very sharp. The entrails of the hog were used by Mama to make our soap. She would mix it with lye. Mama also rendered the lard and made cracklings to flavor our cornbread. The shoulder hams, the bacon, the sausage, the pork chops, the ribs were all salted and hung to smoke in our smokehouse. We also gathered nuts for the winter. There were lots of walnuts that had to be hulled. Dad would scatter them along the ground to dry, and then we had to put them into 2 sacks. We stored the hulled walnuts behind the organ. Hazelnuts grew in bunches on bushes, and butternuts were in the creek bottom. Acorns were plentiful to feed the animals. After the first frost, we could eat persimmons. I rather liked their sweet taste. You could use a knife to cut into their pit to predict the winter weather to come. We hulled peas and beans and put the holes in a tub so we could burn them in our fireplace. And for a sweet treat, in Mom and Dad's big value coffee can, a peppermint candy stick was always inside, and Mama would split it 3 ways between Shirley, Toby, and myself.